So Vaishnavi, louder, clear, detail.
So I'm Vaishnavi. I'm from Hyderabad. So I've completed my BSc from St. Francis College for Women. I've met TPS sir when he came to our college to give a seminar on physics, and after that I didn't contact sir for many days, and but later again I got connected to sir through a friend. So I've asked to explain about to clear 4-year series and Taylor series. So sir said, so Dr. TPS said we can have a meet together with a few students that we can learn. So that is how this meet came out.
So what do you know about this series? Tell that how much you know. How much whoever wants to speak about Tyler series, Fourier series, then we will add from that. Because we have lot of students from different background. Just now I spoke to a BTech student electronics and physics student. Shivam completed +2. So Vaishnavi, you explain how much you know about the Tyler series and
4-year series, it is for periodic functions, like to express periodic functions as an infinite series. So I don't know the formula we use and how.
one is Tyler series, right?
Yes.
And another one is Fourier series. Both are series or what?
Fourier theorem and Fourier transformation.
Fourier transform. Be very sure. I am not teaching what is Tyler series, what is Fourier series. When such concepts have to be learned, how are you going to look at it? How many questions you can have? Did you ask yourself, is it Tyler series or Tyler function? Is it Fourier series or Fourier function? Is it theorem or not? This is the way you look at it. Anybody who learned Fourier series or Tyler series? Any students who are, show your faces, all of you. Yeah, Krishna is also a classmate. Tell me, Krishna, what is Fourier series? Is it Fourier series or who is Fourier? What was his basic subject?
I have learned.
Who is that? When you speak, just introduce so that.
My sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, my Giri Krishna name is first year BSc from Kozhikode Veterinary College.
Veterinary College. Okay.
Sir, in my pre-degree course, that is +2, I have learned almost mostly. So at that time, I have words Fourier sequence. That's also right. Deep about that.
Okay. Where do you study series? The word series, sequence. In which subject of mathematics you learn this? See, our problem is we learn so much, but we don't know where to categorize. How to categorize them, right? Where do you learn about series? What is that subject? Who said that?
I said that.
Yeah, IRG. It's algebra. algebra itself has got two portions. I am going little deeper. See, just now we used many words, functions, series. What is the difference between them? Assume if I write a plus b or ax plus by is equal to c. Simple equation. Right? It's an algebraic equation. Correct?
Yes, sir.
But if I write ax plus or a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube plus etc. dot 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 dot. Is it called a polynomial? It is infinite. Immediately after you say infinite, it is called a series. You understood? That's a basic difference. So in algebra itself, there is a finite algebra and there is an infinite algebra. Because IRG told that it is algebra, I am talking that word. Whatever words you use, I will add from there. So infinite, when it comes, it is not called algebra. So this series is not an algebra at all. I agreed that what he said is correct, but actually in mathematics, algebra, when it becomes infinite, anybody, that is not called algebra. It has a different name. Any mathematics BSc, MSc students are here around? Show your face so that I will remember. Yeah, that is called analysis. What is it called? Got it? So if you ask somebody who is a mathematician, what is the difference between algebra and analysis? He'll ask you, I don't know. This is logically you have to understand what is difference between algebra and analysis. When you have finite number, it is called algebra. When it is infinite, it is called analysis. So actually series comes in analysis. Why is it called analysis? Which I cannot see, I have to analyze it. It is not in front of me. Why is it infinite? I cannot do infinite number of experiments. I cannot look at infinite number of things. But after some time, I analyze it here so that I know what is going to happen tomorrow. It's a beautiful mathematical concept. So two things. One is Taylor, another one is Fourier. That is what Vaishnavi wanted. Not only this, there are a lot of polynomial functions. There are a lot of functions which are used in different purposes. Fourier series is one which I must have used maximum in my life. In mathematics, when I learned mathematics, I don't know why is it used. Where is it used? Why am I studying? But whatever I did 20 years of my food in Department of Space with image processing is full of signal processing. In electronics, BTech, you will study signal processing. Right? Assume you have a radio, the old radio, where you will see a lot of ups and downs going. Music, when it plays, you will see high pitch, low pitch, right? Have you seen the symbol of sound? Yeah, that is called signal. Music signal, sound signal is coming. In mathematics, the physics concept of wave, in mathematics, how do I put it? What is wave? Mathematics, we don't have wave. Wave is in physics. But mathematics, what we have is dot, square, circle, all algebras are there, right? Algebra is geometry. Algebra and geometry, there is no difference. When I draw a circle, are you seeing a circle? You must also draw, then only it becomes active for you. So when you have a circle, x square plus y square is equal to some number. So square root of that number will become radius in xy because two-dimensional plane. So what is this? This is a geometry which I have drawn. What is this geometry? This is a polynomial. In fact, it's a polynomial. It's a function. It's an algebra. So circle is not a geometry for an algebra teacher. For an algebra teacher, it is x square plus y square is equal to some number. And that subject in mathematics is called algebraic geometry, which nobody must have learned in normal classes. But I have had the fortune of being a student in algebraic geometry. So we visualize. What you draw is, if I say y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to mx plus c. A geometry teacher will not write y is equal to mx plus c. What the geometry teacher will do? Draw a line and then say y is equal to mx plus c. But if I draw with 45 degree x-axis, y-axis and 45 degree one line, that line will become y is equal to x. When x is 1, y is 1. X is 2, y is 2. So it will become a 45 degree in the xyz plane, xy plane. So what is equation? Equation is geometry. That's a polynomial. Why am I saying this for this? Now this circle, if I draw, you take an x-axis. Whenever you draw, you should have an x-axis, y-axis. Assume in the center you draw a circle and you have first quadrant, second quadrant, third, fourth quadrant. You take this bottom one and then cut this and then put in the reverse order. So you will get, are you seeing what I am doing? The circle which I have cut and then post it into the reverse order like this. It's also a circle, but half I shifted the other side. Did I do that?
Yes.
What is that? That we call it as wave. Are you getting? That is called wave. Then what do you do? Keep on repeating it like this. That's a wave with the 2 pi as the wavelength. And that 2 pi as a wavelength, when you draw, that is a cos function. Now I am relating lot of mathematics into one class. You will realize it. How beautiful is this class. You have learned trigonometry, right? In trigonometry, when you have x-axis, cos 90 is equal to 1. Is it not cos 90 is equal to 1 here? Are you getting? So I am not happy with cos function. I want a sine function. So what do? Maybe take some other function which goes into like I am drawing something else, you can see, with a different line where it starts with 0 and then at 2 pi it becomes maximum and comes down. So what is the difference between sine function and cos function? Instead of starting at 0, 0, if it starts at 0, 0, it becomes sine function. If the peak is at 0, y-axis, it becomes cos function. So cos and sine is, that's the difference. Sine 0 is 0, cos 90 is 0. Sine 90 is 1, cos 90 is 0. It just reverse. You just reverse the graph. So if I have a wave function, neither it has got 0 or this. If I want to represent a wave, how do I represent sine and cos functions together? That's one method. Okay. So what is a wave equation for me? Wave function is y-axis, x-axis. If I draw f of x, each point I want to identify, it becomes a function. Y is equal to f of x is a function. What does it mean? When I draw one graph, if I want to find out where this is in the, for x value, where is this y? Then if I draw that, that becomes a function. So a y is equal to f of x is a function, one dimensional function. Two dimension, z is equal to f of x comma y. Two parameters are there. Three dimensional. So I can look at every polynomial as a function. Every series is also a function. That's why Taylor function. Oh, is it function? Is it series? All are same. Don't have to get confused. The word which you use doesn't have any relevance if you don't understand it. If you understand it, then it depends. Are you looking for y value for every x? It is called a function. Are you looking for the pattern in which it is working? It becomes a series. It is representing a diagram. You are not looking for a value. You are looking for the pattern. Understood the difference? So that is why generally Taylor series and Fourier series, when you understand, you must know Fourier series is a series where I am looking at the general pattern. Taylor is generally called a function because I want to know at that point what happened. It's a localized activity. There are two types of series. One is power series. First I told you a1x plus a2x square plus, that's called the power series. The other one is called the cosine and sine functions with the cos phi. So it will become always. And another one is derivatives. When I have got this function, you will beautifully will see. If I have got a x and y cos function and sine function, when it goes to the peak, it comes down. Sine goes like this and then comes down. So if I take the peak, what is the derivative there? First order derivative, it will become 0. dy by dx of the peak is negative and positive. The curve goes upward, it is positive slope. Once it comes down, it is negative slope. What will be at the peak? It will be 0. dy by dx of a function is 0 means it is changing its direction. It's changing its slope. So if you have a sine function, derivative of that function will become cos function. Very simple, no? Derivative of the function become cos function. So you can also represent it as, sometime you will see a series of function which x f dash x, x square f double dash x, double derivative. How do you know this? First, no derivative, it is becoming a distance. First derivative is velocity. Second derivative is acceleration. Third derivative is third derivative is jerking. Keep on changing that acceleration. What is jerking? Acceleration is when the speed increases. Deceleration is speed reduces. What is jerking? You have seen some vehicle when the accelerator is not working. What does it mean? It jerks. What a beautiful mathematics is this. Have you learned mathematics like this? Are you visualizing? Got it? So when you draw one wave equation in the normal sea wave, is it always acceleration? No, it has got acceleration, it has got deceleration, it goes up sometime, the next wave will come up from the bottom. So it is a mixture of cos and sine functions. That's why the name itself is wave function. So I wanted to know the temperature, how is it spread? My PhD is in fluid mechanics, but heat transfer was my subject. So I understand these series functions. Just now I told you I used the Fourier FFT, fast Fourier transforms. That's a very, very beautiful function which we use as in mathematics. Assume that I cannot solve a problem in the domain. Domain means in image is given. Image is a full image. Lot of numbers are there. That's how the image is displayed on your computer. If I have to solve it, 1000 by 1000 numbers. 1000 by 1000 numbers. Imagine 1000 by 1000 numbers, and each one represents whether it is RGB, color, intensity. It's a huge data. I take a lot of time to solve. So what do we do generally? we transfer it into frequency domain. What is frequency domain? Assume this image has got many different colors, white and black. Say it's a chessboard. I will count all the zeros where it is black, all the white color, and then put it into two different boxes. So I know this many number of zeros are there, this many number of white is there. White is 255 generally, 8-bit display. So I am changing this image into a graph. That's what we do when we get a statistics population data. Immediately I will draw a graph, pie diagram. Have you seen pie diagram? When pie diagram is discrete, discrete means one line, another line, another line, another line. In the year 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, etc. in different table sort of a thing you will see. A huge number, that is the frequency. In 2010 this much population, 2020 this much population. So it's like a discrete function. That's also called a discrete function. But in the world generally, which I can count, it becomes discrete. Which I cannot count, it becomes continuous. There are two functions, continuous function and discrete function. Assume I want to know how the temperature is spreading. When I am heating a metal plate, temperature is spreading. Is it discrete? It's continuous function. Every point, every moment it changes. So how do I represent the temperature in a plate? It cannot be discrete functions like this. Image, because I am putting it into digital form, 0 to 255 numbers, 8-bit, it can be like a Venn diagram. It can be like a polynomial. But temperature spreading, I need to make it into a function, continuous function. So at one point I wanted to know that what do I do? Oh, how is it spreading? Previous, how much was the temperature? Before that, how much was the temperature? What is the velocity in which the temperature is spreading? Look at it, then I can predict when, at what time, how much will be the temperature. So Tyler used this in his experiments on conduction. So there are a lot of scientists who use this. Most of the mathematical functions like this are never understood by mathematicians, or there was no boundary between mathematics and physics. Most of the best mathematicians traditionally we got, all of them were physics people. So though we say in mathematics Taylor series is an infinite sum of lot of terms which express anything into x dot f dash x derivative added together, at one point if you want to know, we call it as mathematics, but actually it is not mathematics. In early, I think it is in 1700, the beginning, Taylor was the person who identified this. He was a great mathematician. Other day I was talking on calculus in one of the program. But then Fourier, slightly later, I think early 1800s, that is what, 100 years difference is there. What he did, he was also looking at how the environment changes. It's not like at a point I want to know in the environment. In heat transfer, I will talk about at this point what is the temperature. In the environment, do you think about at one point? It's a spread. It's how is it behaving. Now you cannot forget this. Taylor is one who stitches, right? Now at every point you must be very careful. Fourier, he flows. Fourier is a flow. It's a beautiful flow sort of a thing. Image is a flow. Fourier series is an image flow. Fourier fast, Fourier transform. It transforms from one place to another place. So Fourier identified his inventions were most on environment, diffusion equation and all that. So what he did, he studied and identified most of them are like wave. It is not like a function spreading, derivative spreading. It is not like a velocity can go and it can become acceleration, it can jerk sometime, all that is possible. But here, function will go up and down. One wind will come in the atmosphere from the top, another will go from bottom. So one will be a cos function, another will be a sine function. It's a mix of cos and sine functions. So it's like a phenomena. It is not at one point what you do will not be asked by Fourier. Are you able to understand the difference between Fourier and also on Taylor? Any questions on this? Any questions up to this? Now we have two different ways of representing it. Now how do you represent cos function? Cos also you can write it as x plus 1 by x square plus etc. as polynomials again. Sine also can be written as a power series. That's called a power series. X square, x cube, x power 4. You can also write it as power series. Sine also can be written as power series. Cos also can be written as power series. A combination of sine and cos can be written as power series. But only derivatives will not be there. Right? So what is the difference between the basic Taylor series and Fourier series? How do you look at it? Are you going to look at it as a function? What purpose you are doing it? That makes it entirely different. So it's all mathematical functions used in physics quite often for understanding how a image works, how the harmonious function changes from one place to another place, how the transformation happens. Can we identify the local value at a point with some approximation? What is the range in which it is moving? The peak, the frequency, wavelength, all these analysis can be done. Now this has got a lot of different applications, like you want to study about how the stock market changes, the weather pattern changes, season wise. Some data can be seasonally varying. Some data can be time varying. Some depends on the trend. Some depends on cyclic. Every summer temperature is same. Every winter temperature can be same. There can be a small shift. So if you look at physical parameters, you can represent them as different waves. A combination of different waves. So normally, how you are going to represent this physical problem into mathematics? That is what is done by the series and functions. And then what is the possibility at a later stage where you don't have an access, you can predict it. So all these are used for predicting. So if you look at the weather prediction, they use lot of such functions. One is you have a lot of data, you collect it and put them together and construct and see how these functions are behaving. Okay, assume that you want to know the stock market, opening price, closing price. What is the high and what is the low? Between that only it can go up and down, right? Is it not a wave function? It's a wave function because it has got an opening, closing, up and down. It goes like this. It may not have normal cos function, sine function, but you can see in an interval it goes up sometime it normally varies. What is the application? So I must know tomorrow how the function of how much going to be the price of a product, how much is the stock market variation. That is called a data exploration. Exploring is what you don't know, you wanted to hunt for that. So that is true with heat transfer, that is true with weather prediction, that is true with economics. So a lot of applications. Now you can ask questions if you want. I can answer that. Yeah, Ayerji, please.
The both that pillar and Korean series book read long since I learned all those things. The same, your explanation is that, and for young people that they catch it. You're not talking about numbers, not talking about the solving of some. You're talking the need to understand the subject itself. I am very happy to be today in your class. Thank you.
You have to see the problem with the teachers, they are not making students to visualize. If you are not able to visualize, it looks stupid. Today, yeah. Today morning, one of the math student was talking to me. Asfara was talking to me in the morning. I was telling, if you can visualize, it becomes so beautiful. No, it's like a drama in front of you. We are not able to visualize, then maths becomes abstract. If you can visualize, yeah?
Not only abstract, you are given some numbers and you have to get an answer for
That's
that is not the actual thing. I am very glad to be today here in your class, Dr. TPS. This is the way to teach.
I don't think we have to teach theorems. It can be understood by students if they know, oh, this is how. Now you read your Taylor series again, you will see, oh, this is Taylor series. I never knew this. Understood? Otherwise, you have only x plus y is equal to c. What is it? X plus y is equal to c. See, I remember, I keep on giving this as an example. X square plus y square, see, it need not be x square plus y square. It can be maybe ax square plus by square plus c is given to you. And I will give you another equation also. Maybe b1 x plus b2 y is equal to some c1. So two different equations. Solve. What do you do generally? You write y is equal to in terms of x and then substitute and then get to the value, right? Simple. That is how algebraic equations are solved. I remember when I was given this when I was a BSc student, like some senior students are also there, junior also there. When I was a student in Payyanur College, my teacher gave this. Immediately I said, teacher, this will not touch each other, so it cannot solve. See, teacher is giving a geometric algebraic equation, but what am I saying? It will not touch. Why? For me, x square plus y square is equal to some number means immediately I draw a circle in my mind. Suppose if I'll tell you one equation, x square plus y square is equal to 9. For you, x square plus y square is equal to 9. For me, it's a circle with a 3 unit as radius at the center. Very simple. Center is 0, 0 in the xy axis. Now I am giving you another equation. Y is equal to 20. And I am asking you to solve. I don't have to try substituting and then getting a fix and say it cannot be solved. Because y is equal to 20 is a line in the parallel to x-axis 20 unit. But my circle ends at 3. Will it touch? If the circle and the line touches in a point, you get one solution. If the line touches the circle, cross it in 2 points, you get 2 solutions. Suppose if I say x square plus y square is equal to 9, x equal to 2. Immediately I can tell there will be 2 solutions. Are you able to visualize, my dears? X square plus y square is equal to 9 is a circle. X equal to 2 or y equal to 2 Definitely it will touch, because it's going to cut this circle into 2 dots. This is visualizing. If you don't visualize, what do? You start writing. Everybody was writing. I told it is not going to touch, so you cannot solve it. It was not 2-dimensional as simple as this, little more difficult 3-dimensional equation. So the teacher came, everybody was trying, nobody could get a solution. She came to me and said, "What did you say?" I said, "It cannot be solved." "How did you say?" You know, before going to class, I used to solve all the problems in the textbook, because teachers only copy problems from the textbook. So I will go and sit in the class only after doing all the problems which tomorrow teacher can teach. Not even tomorrow, a week ahead I will study everything and sit. Because I was a very bad student. I don't understand what the teachers are telling. So I have decided I am going to study prior to this and then go and sit. Let me see whether I will understand something. So when teacher was writing this, the circle was actually big. It was not 9, it was 99 or maybe 81. But what happened to her? Suppose 9, 2 zeros are there. She missed 2 zeros. So the circle, big circle became small circle, right? Then I told the teacher, in the textbook, what the number you have written is wrong. There is 2 digits which you lost. How do you know? I know what, because syllabus is there with everyone, right? Textbook is there in library. I also take, generally I go to librarian and ask which book my algebra teacher took yesterday. Second copy you give me. Librarian was my closest friend. So I will take all the books what my teachers are taking. Definitely in library there will be multiple copies. I will take another copy and read everything. That's how I studied. Reference books, most of the reference books I studied. Then jokingly I told my teacher, Grantham moonu pagarthidil muhurtam mootramayidu. If you copy Grantham 3 times, muhurtam will become mutram after some time. You know what teacher said? Last year it was touching, why this year is not touching? Because last year same note she is copying this year also. Last year it was touching, why this year it is not touching? This is how teachers are. They don't visualize. If you visualize, mathematics becomes easy, poetry becomes easy, every subject in the world. Now I have to talk about Taliban problem. Don't think about Taliban problem as a Taliban problem. Look at be there as an individual there and understand the problem. You can also be like a drama seeing in front of that place, right? When you read poetry, don't be away from the poem. Be inside the poem and then read it. You will really enjoy it. Visualize it. Method of learning is visualizing. So I am only visualizing. I didn't know that at your age when I am reading Taylor series was not known to me like this. But I started using Taylor series in my life. Then I know, oh, this is how it is. So I am only sharing that experience of looking at. I know Taylor series because I did PhD in fluid mechanics. Heat transfer was very part of physics in my life. Fourier series because I did image processing, signal processing. So I was telling Asfara in the morning. As soon as Asfara's call was over, I think 4 or 5 different calls were there. In between I saw IRG's message but I couldn't even reply. So I told Asfara I don't have to prepare for this class because I taught this probably 18-20 years back to engineering college teachers in Hyderabad. Fourier series is one of the most used in mechanical engineering, 100%. Civil engineering, yes. Electronics, you cannot go without this. Computer science, nothing can be done without this. Because image, display, all functions are used. So I keep telling all the students who want to understand, oh, men of mathematics. Yeah.
Can I interrupt, Dr. T?
Yes, sure.
My name is Iyer. I am calling from Chennai. I have a book with me in my hand. It is Men's Mathematics by E.T. Bell. It's sometime in 2013. If people can get this book from the library or any other place, to find some interest about the great maths people who have been before us. What prompted them? It was just the processing of ideas, thinking independent thought, and promote right that came down mathematics in our system. It on the book, right? It is the need to imagine, think, and analyze. There's a book with me. I'll send it across also, no problem. It's a wonderful book. I expect to be here. Nothing in book. Most important thing, how approach is subject. Thank you, KPS, for calling me for this meeting. Thank you.
See, if I don't tell, wonderful. What I'm putting as a corollary for what he said is, if I don't understand who Taylor was, who Fourier was, and study Taylor series and Fourier series, I don't understand the meaning of why he did it. That's what now IRG is talking to you. Understand why and what made him to invent these functions. Then you will know, oh, the spreading of temperature has to be understood. Assume you want to study my poetry without understanding Dr. TPS, you look at poetry, it doesn't make any meaning to you. That's why at the end of the poetry they write a small bio sketch of the poet. Have you not seen every poetry book they will have the bio sketch of the poet? In what context he has written. So understand the context. You can understand Indian constitution only if you know in the context in which it is written. Taliban problem you know only in which context they are fighting now. So any problem in the world you want to understand that person's life story is also essential. Actually, I don't know whether Fourier or Taylor, one of them was a priest actually. He was not even a mathematician to start with, but most of them, German, I think Fourier was a German, Taylor was an American. I'm not very sure, I have not looked into their histories. Google and find out. When you get a name, Google and find out.
Fourier was French.
Yeah, Fourier was French, yes. So he was a priest, right?
That I'm not sure, but he was French.
Yeah. Then Taylor was an American.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taylor was an American. Taylor is the earlier one, 1700. So he was also secretary to the academy, the Royal, I think some Royal Academy or something. They were all very, very close to great physics people during those time, like Isaac Newton, Leibniz. I think, yeah, Taylor, correct. What you said is correct. Taylor was very close to Isaac Newton and Leibniz during that time, 1700s, early 1700s. Taylor was senior. Fourier was a German and he was also part of, I think, a seminary. Most of the people were, because they are able to connect to people. Those days it is not that the priest does only religion. They do a lot of maths, physics, chemistry also. They get connected faster to the world. Like basic Indian scientists were all poets and sannyasis. Right? Sushruta was a great saint, but he was a biologist. Bharadwaja was also called Muni, Maharshi, saints, sannyasis. All of them were. Any questions or any? There has to be a lot of questions. Vaishnavi, did you get something? Some head and tail of it? Vaishnavi slept or what?
No, sir. I was not able to answer.
Yeah.
Sir, how?
Understood, and I'll go back and look at it again.
Yeah. And all the theorems are also like that. If you tell me one of the theorem, I will tell you what is the crux in that.
It is said that Fourier only, through him only, greenhouse effect, it was understood better.
Yeah.
So how?
So that is because without the model, I will not be able to predict why is it happening. The parameters are multiple. In the environment science, parameters are multiple. Better understood means that point of time, some explanations are given. Even today, it's not understood perfectly.
Yes, sir, you said many times that global warming is like a hoax.
Yeah, it's a hoax. Have you seen that movie? The Great Global Warming Swindle?
No.
You must see, there are a lot of scientists coming. Approximately 37 physics scientists explains why this theory cannot be understood. I was telling, no, you can only do predictions only when you have data with you. You cannot predict after 50 years what happens with the 20 years of data. You need to have 100 years of data so that you can predict after. It's like cantilevering in the engineering. Got it? I cannot have a building with 3 feet construction, another 10 feet cantilevering is not possible. I can have a 10 feet construction, 3 feet cantilevering is possible. Similarly, every data is like that. This stability will tell how much I can predict. So I don't have data for 100 years in environment science. Nobody measured it and kept it. These are all imagination, theoretical. See, nobody has measured sun temperature. It's only theoretical. Where we don't have control, we have to accept it. Where we have control, we must measure it. That's what is required. Salvia, Proda, Dos, and Jos. You have to unmute, then only can speak. You are muted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do I talk now?
Yeah, you could.
Okay, good. You were talking about prediction. However, because they say mathematics is an exact science. But it seems, for me at least, I cannot understand the word as that. Because there is free will and everything can change. So,
You are talking about
just one thing.
yeah, mathematics is actually representing anything which you can visualize, anything which you can see, approximate to an equation. Mathematics is only approximation. Assume we say globe. What is the shape of earth? What is shape of earth?
Earth?
Your
Eh?
It's flat, sir. I think it's flat.
Yeah, there are a lot of foolish people in this world who say earth is flat. That is because you are only seeing locally. It is exactly true because you are seeing locally. It's a globe. It's like a circle, round, sphere. Those people who look from very far, it's a sphere. You look very close to that and understand magnetism, you will say it's a geoid. It's a spheroid. But actually it is neither a sphere, it is actually what, it's like goggling. It's bubbling. There is no shape at all. What if somebody asks what is the shape of earth, do you know what is the answer? Eh? If you want to be very precise, what is the shape of earth?
Infinite.
No, it's called earth shape.
It's called
Earth shape. The shape of earth is earth.
Earth. Oh, okay. Oh, that's beautiful.
Now somebody asks you, what is the value of pi? What is the value of pi? Aspara, what is the value of pi?
22 by 17.
If I get Aspara in front of me, I will chop you into pieces.
3.141 approximately equal to the
No, I did not ask you approximate. Now tell me, what is a rational number?
rational number.
What is definition of a rational number?
Which can be written in form of P by Q, where Q
Which can be written as P by Q is called a rational number. What is irrational number?
Which can't be written in the form.
Okay, give me
Which
one.
can be written in P by Q, but the denominator can be 0 even, the Q.
No.
In rational, it shouldn't be 0.
No, you cannot write it. There is nothing called something by 0. Division by 0 is not defined, undefined. Now you cannot write it as P by Q. And what is one example of an irrational number? Every mathematics teacher will teach you pi is a irrational number. And immediately I am asking you what is the value of pi, you will be saying 22 by 7. Just now you said you cannot write it as P by Q. When I am asking, you are saying the answer as P by Q. Okay, if I say, oh, it is not P by Q, 3.14. What is 3.14? 314 divided by 100. That's also P by Q only. Every decimal number is a fractional number. So what is the value of pi? Pi is a irrational number. Value of pi is pi. If somebody asks you value of pi, what is the answer? If I ask you what is the value of 1, will you say it is 0.9999 and say I am telling approximate number? Will you tell like this? See, this is how we are taught. We are not taught very precisely. Mathematics is precise. There is no approximation in mathematics. But physics, when you write into mathematics, you cannot be precise. So we model it. That's called the model. So globe is a model of Earth. Diffusion equation is a model of atmospheric dispersions. We have to be very careful each word when we use it. So that is where you get the concept clear. Very, very essential. You're all my children. So must be very, very careful in using words. How do you become careful in using words? Only when you know the meaning very carefully. Yeah.
Can I try to answer
Yeah.
Madam Sylvia's question?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have. Can I, sir, with your permission?
You should have questions. Otherwise, this is like another normal lecture, which I don't want.
But I was just trying to answer Sylvia's question whether mathematics is a pure science or exact science or not. Yeah, maths is an exact science, but the exactness is also an approximation at some stage or the other.
Yeah.
If it is simply a question of x is equal to y, then it is exact. For every value of x, there is a value of y. But then if it is an answer of x squared is equal to y squared, then -2 also becomes equal to that. When you square it up, -2 is also 4, 2 is also 4.
Yeah.
That is where the exactness merges into kind of complexities. And again, if you get into some more equations like complex numbers, it is further complicated. But the exactness to arrive at a point is always there. If you travel from A to B, you have to arrive at B. There is no question. But the process can be different. The directions can be different. The elevations can be different. The acceleration can be different. The velocity may be different. Anything can be different.
True.
Mathematics helps you to get the various variables into the picture, and the person who is looking at the mathematics is arriving at the exact place, but is going through a process of analysis, of thinking, of understanding, This is how the difference is. Madam is not there at the moment, but
No, she is there.
I will add to Dr. TP's way of understanding mathematics. He is not going to teach mathematics. This is not the subject. Mathematics will be taught by the teacher. That's right. But understanding mathematics, going into it, really very good explanations are coming through. And I am happy to be here. I am not a teacher per se, but I like to see this kind of teaching takes place in India, where people think independently, honestly, and exploratively. And this maths is a wonderful place. I would suggest all of you to read another book by the great person called Craig on Ramanujan. He was just he didn't know anything about maths. He was just casually he was getting into numbers and partitioning of them, and then he joined as a clerk in the Port Trust of Chennai, and how he went on to become such a great mathematician. It will enthuse people, those who are interested in maths. Thank you, and I close here, and I enjoy being with you, Dr. TPS. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm talking.
You have to introduce. Others don't know you. I know you, but others may not know you. So you tell where are you from, who are you, what are you doing.
Oh, okay. My name is Silvia Prado dos Anjos. I'm also known as Nilaya. I am from Brazil.
Nilaya is my student.
TPS. Yes, from the Gita, Bhagavad Gita. Very nice. Like the mathematics could be like a way of talking poetically or in a code type of talking about the universe. Could be a language.
Mathematics is a high logical language. Mathematics is full of logics. It's only a language. So what Iyerji said, I cannot use my words precisely. Sometimes I use an approximate word. That's why the approximation comes. I cannot explain everything clearly. What is seen in an experiment, I cannot write it. I approximately explain it to somebody else. So that language deficiency is there for the person who writes it. When I write, if I am a Taylor, I will write Taylor series. But Fourier writes, he will write in Fourier series. Ultimate aim is getting into the main result. So how do you do it? I make some theorems. With these steps, if you write, this is how you will get. Now how the theorems have come. So I keep saying, you tell me any English word, I will find mathematics inside. Any English word.
That's good.
Because it's full of logic. Yeah.
What is the math for love?
L-O-V-E. L-O-V-E, love.
Love.
L-O-V-E, love.
Yeah, love.
That's a function. That's a function between one to another one. It's a function, mathematical function.
Oh, it's a function. Oh, that's beautiful.
Number one. And it's an account. Love is a big account. It's like a financial account. It's a bank. Love is a bank. You keep depositing. You keep depositing. You put lot of deposit into that, you get that much credit.
Oh, beautiful.
You put lot of time with a lot of love to me. You can encash it later with an interest. And you can also give an overdraft to somebody else. Now Nilaya refer, so and so person is my friend. And I will start loving them because you already have an account with me. It's like a bank account reference scheme. Understood? So accounts is full of credit, debit, that's full of mathematics.
So, but what happens to banks in sort of reality that love doesn't seem to touch them? Like in Brazil. In Brazil, if we get loans, they charge
Interest.
very interest rate.
Yeah.
So what is the law?
It's always like that. In love, you give a loan to whom? Only who can repay. I am checking whether you are rich enough to pay back. I will give credit to somebody only if
I will not ask for loan.
that is because I have given loan to somebody where you have not used that loan amount for a good purpose. Otherwise, you are supposed to make more money than the bank is making so that you can repay.
But we live in a consumerism society that asks us.
That's why bank will never give loan to somebody who cannot pay back. It's like you are loving somebody without knowing whether he worth loving or not. So don't love somebody who is not worth of loving. You will get ditched like a bank ditching you. I have got in this book Love Account. I am not talking from air now. I wrote a portion of this book is Love Account. Read that.
Okay.
It explains. Life Made Simple have got a small page on Love Account. Yeah, anybody else?
You should come to me in Brazil.
Done.